It's now time for us to review everything we've read, watched or played, but within a maximum time limit of 60 seconds. Sven, please tell me you have something, please.
These marshmallows.
Nah. Oh. Okay, I guess I better leave the bulk of this.
Have fun reviewing the manga, bro.
Okay.
Mario Party 9. It's alright, but unfortunately they've kind of changed the system around, so yeah, while I can't say it's a bad game, it's definitely not as good as any of the other Mario Parties in my humble opinion.
Well, I'm not sure how much of a point of comparison that is overall, because I haven't played a Mario Party game since I think 7.
Fair enough. The only games I play are Mario Party 2, 3, and 8, and I would say 8 is pretty good, if a little slow. But Mario Party 9, I don't know, they just kind of removed, like, the whole competitive and strategy element. It boils down to luck 90% of the time, and yeah, I know that's not saying much when you're talking about a board game that's reliant on dice rolls, but just take my word for it, this game is much more heavily reliant on luck. There's almost no way to make a strategy out of it.
Sounds fun?
Okay, yeah, to be fair, the boss battles on the boards are pretty cool, but in the end, they're kind of glorified mini-games, and again, barely anything happens in it. It kind of says something about a Mario Party game when I've had more fun with the mini-game mode than I have the actual maps. And moving on to the next game I played.
Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure. It's pretty fun and it's kind of unique actually in the way it presents itself, almost like a new-gen version of a 2D Zelda game, so, and yeah, I can definitely recommend it, although I don't think you can play the co-op of it very easily since it requires 4 Game Boy Advances to do that.
I actually did play 4 Swords Adventure a long time ago. I remember nothing about it, but I know I played it. I just remember that it was basically Minish Cap with 4 links.
I'd say it's more like a Link to the Past of 4 Link, because it reuses a lot of the items and enemies, but apart from that, yeah, I would agree with you there. I think it's also like the most requested game for the Runaway guys, to which I would say to those fans, the co-op version of this game would be impossible to do as a Let's Play, since, okay, to quickly explain, the way the whole Game Boy Advance thing works is that every time you enter a cave or a house, in the view switches to the Game Boy Advance, or in the one-player version, it pops up a Game Boy Advance-sized screen, so that it takes care of that. So, how is anyone supposed to record that for a Let's Play? That's what... Oh well, and 2 more things to go.
The Avengers! Pretty damn fun, I will be honest. The plot is very basic, and there are 1 or 2 elements that don't make that much sense, but the characterization is top notch, and yeah, that's all I can say. It's a lot of fun.
Somehow I just knew internally that that would be your opinion, because seemingly everyone else and their grandmother and their grandmother's dog thinks that about the Avengers.
Yeah, that's it. Well, there have been 1 or 2 people who did criticize it, but they tend to be shunned by everyone else.
Oh gee, wonder why. He panned it, now he sucks.
Aw.
Panned it, now he sucks, I mean.
Yeah. Oh jeez, and 1 more thing to go.
Manga! In terms of the big 2, Manga Roll has happened and Bleach has become so boring I'm actually considering quitting it. Fairy Tail, it's getting vaguely more interesting. There's actually been 1 decent moment for Natsu recently, which is a surprise considering Natsu is usually one of the more boring characters, but overall, not really bad, just boring as heck.
Yeah, I know the feeling, because, fun fact people, a month has passed since the last time we reviewed any manga. It feels like 1 chapter has happened in the entirety of that time span.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? Naruto, the same fight's been going on for about a month, and I think, actually, the same has been... Oh my god, it was last month we complained about the guy looking like one of the Nazi second-in-command, so...
Yeah, so it has been going on for actually more than a month, because he appeared before that.
Oh jeez, and they're still fighting! Oh god,
And fun fact, everyone, this is the very first major fight in this arc. The man is a mook compared to everyone else.
And it's taken this long. Good freaking lord.
I don't think Kubo was kidding whenever he said he could make the manga go on for 10 more years.
Oh god. Anyway, time to pull myself out of that depressing thought.
Yeah, enough about boring, dragged out Nazis.
Hey, I swear, the only two good things that have happened this month, though, is one, Itachi got cut in half, which was amusing.
You know, the manga has reached a low point when you find the evisceration of a major character who's supposed to be sympathetic amusing.
Yeah, although knowing the Sharingan uses, it's gotta be a bloody genjutsu, so...
Yeah, it's like the shadow clones that they always pulled out right at the start.
Yep. And the second kind of cool thing is, like I said, one moment for Natsu, because I've already told Sven about this in chat. Basically, there was one awkward bit of semi-fan service / punishment for... Okay, but I'll start this back from the beginning. As I already explained in chat, the past arc of Fairy Tail has been this whole magic tournament, and in one of the Sabretooth, which is like one of the antagonist guilds, one of their members lost pretty badly, and as punishment, the Dusera guild leader basically forced the person who lost, who was female by the way, to strip naked in front of people, which led to quite possibly one of the most awkward scenes in the manga I've read in a while.
Yeah, gee, you wonder why. Also, just to very quickly interrupt, you can tell that the mangaka of One Piece and Fairy Tail know each other and take cues from each other, because their fan service is shameless.
Pretty much, yeah.
They complain about Bleach's fan service. Jesus, they haven't taken a look at these.
Yeah, Fairy Tail. I'll be blunt, Fairy Tail has a lot worse fan service than Bleach, because, yeah, Bleach has big wrestling characters, but at the very least, they aren't finding excuses for them to be either put up in bondage or stripped naked for whatever reason.
Yeah, and at the very least, not the entire female cast of Bleach wear nothing but what can be described as pirate swimsuits.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wouldn't have found that scene so awkward if it was in the right context, because basically all the guy is doing is telling the female member to get out. That's all he's doing. He's kicking her out of the guild, but for some reason he feels he has to make her strip naked in front of everyone first.
Get out of my guild, you are incompetent, but before you go, at least have the decency to give me a boner. Sorry.
I
aim to please.
But yeah, the reason why that leads into a cool moment is that eventually, because of some other plot relevant stuff, the female member contacts Fairy Tail, and then whilst Natsu and this other female character are talking, she basically tells him how she was forced to strip naked and kicked out of the guild. So Natsu, in response to this, basically walks into the Sabretooth Guild, kicks the ass of several of their minor members, and then when their boss comes along to ask what the commotion's all about, Natsu says, if you get kicked out of this guild because of one loss, when I kick your ass, you better get out as well. Yeah, it's cheesy, but it was definitely a cool moment, and it sort of makes up for the very awkward fan service.
Yeah,
sort of.
At least, I can never remember the name of the mangaka, but at least the mangaka has the decency of paying that pervert back.
Yeah.
It doesn't go unpunished, at least, which is more than I can say of One Piece.
But yeah, on that note, it's time to move on to our final section for this month, which is...
News Spotlight!
Once again, it's time for us to take a look at this month's media-related news stories that have caught our eye and give our own opinions on the matter. Again, this is going the same way as all the other sections, very, very short. I will find, because there are only 2 bits of news. First off, one particular thing I have to get off my chest, and for once it's concerned with movie news, which is a first for this show, I must admit, but...
Yeah, that's definitely a first. I cannot think of any other instance in which that has happened.
Yeah.
Bringing new things to the show.
Hooray! But yeah, it's generally related to a quote that a film director basically said in an interview recently. The director is an eccentric you might know, James Cameron.
Yeah, I know of James Cameron. Probably the most notorious perfectionist in the film industry.
Pretty much, yeah. For those who don't know, James Cameron is a pretty big director who's been behind a lot of big successes, Terminator 2, Titanic, and most recently, his own pet project, Avatar.
Which, to be fair, wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just I have certain issues with it which prevent me from enjoying the film. Filmmaking-wise, in terms of cinematography and that, it looks beautiful, but story-wise, yeah, let's just say I have issues. But anyway...
Yeah, and let's be frank, eventually the same cliches get tiring.
Pretty much, yeah. But, yeah, it's funny we're talking about Avatar because recently, in an interview, James Cameron revealed that he's not only working on this sequel to Avatar, which was kind of obvious anyway, but he plans to basically block out everything else. He's got a record as saying that he will not be doing any further producing or directing projects on anything that isn't Avatar related. As in, the instant he finishes Avatar 2, he's going to focus purely on Avatar 3, and he even hints there maybe in Avatar 4.
What the hell, Cameron? You're gonna make it the next Halo!
Oh dear. It gets more interesting when you see the rest of the quote. He basically says he believes that with Avatar he can do what he wants to do with filmmaking, which is perfectly represent in an entertaining way the state of the world as it is today and what we should be doing about it. And he says anything he can't show through Avatar, he feels he can do through documentaries.
James, to speak to you on a personal level here, I don't think the world particularly has a problem with gigantic corporations funding private military companies and invading peaceful foreign planets.
Yeah,
It's just the feeling that I kinda don't get the point.
Yeah, now, of course, we can always say it's science fiction. Everything like the foreign planets, the unobtainium and everything else is supposed to be a representation, and I do agree with James Cameron that stories are a perfect vehicle to give someone's view of the world and maybe share their own philosophy. Unfortunately, after watching Avatar, I can conclude that James Cameron really knows bugger all about the world and doesn't have any useful suggestions for fixing it. I mean, for good lord, what was the moral of Avatar, really? What, well, Mr. Cameron, are we all supposed to connect to nature? Is that what you're saying? We should all get back to our roots? I'm sorry, that's kind of awkward since there's one thing we don't have. USB cables are connected to nature.
Yeah, I kinda don't get the message when there's no message.
God, I said I had some issues with Avatar, and okay, there are two main issues. The first of was that the entire last act was basically just a series of set pieces designed to make you cry. It's like Titanic all over again. It's basically going like, oh, here's someone we vaguely like, oh, he's dead. Oh, look, there's an entire forest that's buried to the ground. Don't you feel the sadness? We're playing the orchestral music and everything. Oh, look, we're killing hundreds and hundreds of Na'vi in this big battle scene. Some of them were even named characters. Why won't you cry?
Yeah, another thing about this whole thing, Mr. Cameron, you can't evoke an audience reaction if you slam it in their face.
Yeah.
Subtlety exists. Not that I think you know the meaning of the word after The Abyss, after Terminator, after Titanic, after Aliens.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is absolutely no subtlety, and again, Mr. Cameron, I know that not a lot of people like the Iraq War, and just to get on a personal level, I agree with you, it was a big mistake, but at the same time, I'm not naive enough to think that Iraq is 100% innocent and we're the big medieval corporations that are just invading for the sake of it. And I also don't believe soldiers who have volunteered to give up their lives for their country to fight for a cause that they believe is worth fighting for should be represented as transparently evil douchebags.
Yeah, pretty much exactly like you said. Even if there was a message to this film, it's so exaggerated it loses all effect.
I honestly swear, I consider the movie Avatar to be racist to all of humanity, and that's a pretty impressive feat, I must...
Yeah, I see your point, because it's something that Yahtzee brought up too. I would just like to see one instance of media wherein humans are not portrayed as the biggest douchebags in the room.
I know, I mean, it's just...
But this is ridiculous even on those standards. This is humans are bastards taken to the nth degree.
Exactly.